Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Arizona.
Back home in the desert and the sunshine. Cool off and enjoy D-backs baseball with a cold Amstel X-Lite. In the middle of 18 straight games without a day off. But now, the first place D-backs will complete that stretch with the final 10 right here at home. It all starts tonight, the D-backs and the San Francisco Giants on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly along the way. Great to finally be back home after that long road trip. Tonight is game number 82, which means we start the second half of the season tonight, at least mathematically. And the D-backs are 3.5 clear of the rest of the NL West. Bob, the first half of the year was a pretty wild ride.
You want to talk about a roller coaster. The Diamondbacks got off to that fantastic start in the month of April, and it always pays to get some wins in the bank. First 29 games, they went 21-8. The next 23, the wheels came off. They went 5-18, but they've turned it around over their last 29. Hopefully we won't have another valley after these 29 games.
Kind of amazing. We started and ended the first half of the year with a 21-8 run. Let's keep it going here, the first of three against the Giants. It's Patrick Corbett on the mound, and he has been absolutely terrific against San Francisco this year.
Yeah, 3 starts against the Giants this year. Perfect 2-0 record with a 1.74 ERA. He's averaging almost 7 innings per start. I almost had a no-hitter back on April 17th against these Giants. Went 9 innings, gave up only the 1 base hit, a Brandon Belt infield hit against the shift.
We're finally back home. D-backs and Giants coming up on Fox Sports Arizona.
D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. Is brought to you by Jack in the Box. This season, D-backs home runs score free Jumbo Jacks only
at Jack in the Box. By Amstel X-Lite. Grab the 90 cal 2-car beer with great taste today. And by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. The card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the card today. Come on down to the ballpark. We got a first place ball club here. A long 10-game homestand starts tonight. Patrick Corbin gets the ball against the Giants. And the first pitch is next on Fox Sports Arizona. Back home at last here in Chase Field. D-backs baseball brought to you by Amstel X-Lite. Welcome in. We're all buttoned up. Steve Berthew, Bob Renly, Kate Longworth with you. The first place D-backs, 3.5 ahead of the Dodgers for the National League West lead. Have the Giants only 5.5 back. San Francisco is playing well as of late. They've won 7 of 9. And here's the Giants lineup tonight, presented by your Valley Chevy dealers.
Alan Hansen will lead it off at second base tonight. Brandon Belt will be at first base. Andrew McCutcheon out in right field. Buster Posey doing the catching for the Giants tonight. Brandon Crawford will be at shortstop. Austin Slater out in left field. Kung Fu Panda Pablo Sandoval down at third base with Austin Jackson in center, and Andrew Suarez, the left-hander, on the mound.
It's a left-hander on the mound for the D-backs as well. Tonight's Ram Truck starter is Patrick Corbin. He won at Pittsburgh in his previous start last Friday, and he was brilliant. He matched his career high with 12 strikeouts.
And did it with relative ease. Had a really wicked slider. His fastball command was great. Went 7 innings of shutout baseball. Gave up only 3 hits, and as you mentioned, punched out 12.
And as we told you at the top of the show, Patrick in 3 starts against San Francisco this year is unbeaten. That includes a shutout of the Giants here at Chase Field April 17th when he lost that no-hitter with 2 outs in the 8th inning on Brandon Belt's little excuse me check swing single. E.D. Marshall Jewelers gives us a look around the diamond at the D-backs defense tonight.
Chris Owings getting the nod in center field tonight. John Jay in right. David Peralta over in left. It'll be Jake Lamb and Nick Ahmed on the left side of the infield. Ketel Marte and Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Jeff Mathis behind the plate once again for Patrick Corbin tonight.
Big Ted Barrett, the crew chief, is the plate umpire tonight, calling the balls and strikes. Chad Whitson at first base. Adrian Johnson is the second base umpire, and Trip Gibson is at third. Before we get underway, Bob, time for your Valley Honda dealers key to the game.
Well, Horace Greeley said it a lot better than I ever could, but go west, young man. The Diamondbacks have some games against their own division coming up here over the next couple weeks. Very important to win those games, put as much distance between yourself and the rest of the division as possible.
D-backs have been rolling as of late. 7 of their last 8 they've won, 19 of their last 26, and as we mentioned, 3.5 up on the field in the National League West.
And we know the Diamondbacks are getting some key pieces back relatively quickly, and the Giants feel the same way. Jeff Samardzija, Johnny Cueto, Hunter Strickland, Evan Longoria, guys that they have on the disabled list right now that are due back some soon, some a little bit later, but they feel like they put themselves into a position where they could possibly compete.
Cueto has a rehab start tonight. Samardzija is due back soon. Alan Hansen, the second baseman tonight, leads it off 302 and 5 home runs. Yeah, it's also a big night for the Reno Aces tonight. They have both A.J. Pollock and Steven Souza Jr. in their starting lineup at Tacoma. And Randall Delgado will pitch for the Aces tonight as well. So we've got 3 D-backs rehabbing in Reno tonight.
Pretty good chance there'll be a full house in Reno to watch the Aces tonight. Those are the kind of treats you look for as a minor league baseball fan. If you have season tickets to the Reno Aces, every now and then you get guys down there on a rehab assignment. 3 of them for the Aces tonight.
There's the off-speed pitch that misses away. 2-1 on Hansen, who hit a pair of doubles yesterday. The Giants lost to the Rockies at AT&T Park. Fastball away. It's 2-2. Hansen in there as the slumping Joe Panik sits against the left-hander Corbin. And Hansen, even though he's a switch hitter, is much better from the left side. He's not done much this season as a right-hand batter.
Not much at all. 185 batting average as opposed to 342 as a lefty. All 5 of his home runs has come as a left-handed hitter.
There's the back foot slider, and Patrick has his first strikeout.
We talked about that slider in Pittsburgh. It was devastating. He had the Pirates chasing that pitch in the dirt all day long. When they finally decided they were going to lay off, he threw him backdoor for strikes. He just had it all working against the Pirates.
He and Jeff Mathis proved to be a tremendous combination, and they're back together again tonight. Brandon Belt, the first baseman, leads the Giants in home runs and RBIs. D-backs have the shift on. Slider in is in for a strike. Belt homered yesterday in their loss to Colorado. Here's a look at the defense. Nick Ahmed, the shortstop, out in front of second base ump Adrian Johnson, and Belt hits a ground ball right into it. Goldie's there, 2 down. Good start for Patrick. 2 outs on 7 pitches brings up Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen 264, 8 home runs this year. Three defenders on the left side of the infield against McCutchen. There's that slow curveball. Patrick really wants to try and establish that pitch early in counts. Got to steal an early strike with that and use it to set up the fastball and the slider. Doubles up on it right there. Threw it for a strike that time, and it's 1-1.
And you get the feeling the more and more confidence he gets in that slower breaking ball, we may see him use it to put guys away at the end of at bats too. Not just steal a strike to start a sequence, drop it in there below the knees to finish a sequence.
Through 3 in a row there to McCutchen. They feel like that will really speed up some bats after establishing the fastball and follow it up with that slow curveball and get some swings and misses. That was the harder slider. Misses down low, and it's 2-2. But the key for that slow curveball, located in the strike zone a little more often. Posey on deck. Oh boy, Patrick Corbin. Here we go again. 2 strikeouts, a scoreless first. D-backs coming up. Tonight, it's the rookie left-hander Andrew Suarez, 25 years old. A second-round draft pick out of the University of Miami. 2-4 in 12 starts, but he's pitched a lot better than his record suggests.
He has a full assortment of pitches. He'll throw a four-seam fastball, a two-seam sinking fastball, has a good slider, a curveball, a changeup, and he might throw any pitch in any count.
Valley Chevy Dealers has the D-backs lineup tonight.
John Jay leading it off out in right field. Nick Ahmed will be at shortstop. Paul Goldschmidt at first base. David Peralta will be out in left field tonight with Ketel Marte at second base. Chris Owings in center field. Jake Lamb at third. Jeff Mathis doing the catching for lefty Patrick Corbin.
Fastball misses in. John Jay leads it off. 293 and 2 home runs. Sandoval at third, in on the grass a step or two. There's a strike. Jay had a tough series back in his hometown in Miami this week. He started all 4 games, went 0 for 18. Swing and a miss. There's a curveball, 1-2. That seems to happen when guys pitch in front of large groups of family and friends, or they're back in their hometown, or whatever it might be. It often doesn't go as they'd hope. There's a liner to Crawford at shortstop. A look at the Giants defense provided by E.D. Marshall Jewelers.
Couple of Austins in the outfield. Austin Slater in left, Austin Jackson in center, Andrew McCutcheon over in right field. It'll be Pablo Sandoval and Brandon Crawford on the left side of the infield. Alan Hansen and Brandon Belt on the right side. Buster Posey doing the catching for the lefty Andrew Suarez.
Nick Ahmed batting second against the left-hander. Nick has hit the ball hard all month long. Good fastball down and in at 94. Ahmed 217. He's got 10 homers. There's a lot to like about Suarez. He is in large part a strike thrower. He has not walked more than 2 batters in any of his dozen starts this year. But he's not necessarily a strikeout guy. He's got a good hard slider, sinker, changeup, and about a 93, 94 mile an hour fastball.
He's been much better at home this year in 6 starts at AT&T Park, a 3.13 ERA. On the road in 6 starts, 6.18.
Taking advantage of that pitcher's ballpark. Yeah. Fastball's in, but Ted Barrett says strike 2. He's got that his slider will touch 90. It's a real wicked hard slider. Goldie on deck. Or wicked hot, as they used to say back in Boston. Look out, fastball up and in.
Just off the plate, up there around the letters. Spins Nick away. You know, as a general rule, if you saw a pitcher come up and in with a fastball, guess off speed away on the next pitch. That's what 248 lifetime hitters do. Comes right back in with another fastball. Might have broken my bat. You guys don't pitch in patterns as much as they used to, and they don't challenge with fastballs as much as I remember. We talk all the time about predictable counts. Yeah. 2-0, 3-1, 3-2. You could almost bet the farm you were going to get a fastball.
Here comes a breaker. There's that hard slider at 91. That's a really good pitch for him. You don't see a lot of 91 mile an hour sliders. Here comes Goldie. What a month it's been. He's hitting .380 in June with 10 home runs. He is back big time.
And Goldie usually uses the Giants to get himself going again or to continue a hot streak. I know the Giants are not ecstatic about facing Paul Goldschmidt in this series.
He's been killing him. He's hitting about just a smidge under 500 versus the Giants this year. First pitch swing and hits a fly ball deep right field. This ball is at the wall and it dies there in the glove of McCutcheon. Goldie goes deep opposite field, a little shy. We stay scoreless after 1.
living on a prayer. Instead, they're relying on stats and their success. And, well, the numbers do not lie. The Diamondbacks right now, 47-34 record. And usually when I head into the clubhouse, the players not very aware of what the standings read, or at least they don't admit it. However, today, the guys, they were proud, talking about that 3.5 game lead they have in the NL West. And I think it's because, guys, they have endured a lot. We see that rough May in which they had only 8 wins. And the team told me that really showed how resilient they are. And now we're seeing that play out on the field. Archie Bradley explained it to me. After tasting success last year, they know how important a fast start to the season is. 20 wins in April, 19 this month. Well, I think the guys are going to try and keep that trending in that direction as they finish off the second half.
Yeah, Kate, it's such an ebb and a flow, a long baseball season. That's what Tori always says about baseball. You know, in baseball, we do this every day. You don't knee-jerk overreact to one trend or another. You try and find a middle ground somewhere, but it's such an evolutionary process over the course of 6-7 months. Buster Posey down 1-2.
And the personality of the team changes over the course of the season as players go on and off the disabled list, possibly trades, bringing new players into the organization, calling guys up from the minor leagues. It's a constant changing, flowing back and forth, up and down.
Certainly to an extreme case in the Diamondbacks' first half of the year with the April, the May, and the June. But as Kate said, here we are starting the second half, the mathematical second half of the season with a 3.5 game lead. Zach Greinke just got 3 wins on a 10-game road trip. And they're getting healthier. Both A.J. Pollock and Steven Souza Jr. playing tonight for Reno. So those guys will be back hopefully soon. Randall Delgado as well. Full count on Buster. 3-2. Robbie Ray back. Shelby Miller back. Shelby goes tomorrow night here. Buster Posey, a .320 career hitter in this ballpark. He's got 8 home runs at Chase Field. Always a dangerous bat in this lineup, especially in this ballpark. Crawford, who's been their best hitter all year, is on deck. Posey lines it to right center field. Owings over to cut it off. It gets behind him. CO bobbles it, and Posey is in at second. We'll see if they score that a double or a single and an error. Single E8.
Yeah, I was going to say, knowing Buster Posey's speed, I have to believe that's a single and an error on Chris Owings. That may have something to do with that outfield glove. I haven't talked to Chris about it, but he's an infielder by trade, learning to play the outfield in 2 completely different gloves. That outfield glove is long and broken in, long pocket. Infield glove is very short with a very small pocket, and that time CO just couldn't get it.
So the leadoff man at second. Here's Crawford, who has been baseball's hottest hitter over the last 2 months of the year. First pitch slider, 0-1. Crawford at .313, 9 home runs. Leading the Giants in base hits and batting average. He just beat Colorado with a walk-off home run Wednesday. See Nick Ahmed, the shortstop, almost right behind the second base bag. Another slider Crawford lays off. Crawford having a big year since May 1st. A span of exactly 50 games. He's hit .373. That is the major league's highest batting average since May the 1st. So that's 2 solid months of being the best hitter in the game, at least in terms of average.
And he's done it against righties and lefties, hitting .290 against left-handed pitching this year.
And you think back to 4 or 5 years ago, he was an all-defense type shortstop. They sat him often against left-handers. Like tonight, he wouldn't have been in the lineup a few years ago. But he has really worked on the offense. Patrick behind, 2 balls and a strike. Fastball away, and it's 3-1.
You've got Slater and Sandoval coming up next. First base is open. So I don't know if this is a pitch around or not, but they're being awfully careful with Brandon Crawford considering how hot he's been. Chasing that slider.
We were just talking about obvious fastball counts. A 3-1 count used to be an obvious fastball count, but with a base open and a dangerous hitter at the plate, Patrick Corbin rolled that slider up there and got a swinging strike.
He threw 46 sliders last Friday, and the Pirates swung and missed on 21 of them. That is an enormous number of swings and misses. Here's another one. He has struck out 3 of the first 5 he's faced.
Well, and at this point of the season, there are no surprises. The Giants have video scouting. They have advanced scouts. They have guys that have laid eyes on Patrick Corbin several times. They've seen him 3 times this year, and they still can't lay off that slider.
Posey still down there at second. 1 out. Here's Austin Slater, who is the left fielder tonight, just 4 for 15 this year. And he's only played in a handful of games. They've run through a whole bunch of left fielders this year. There's the slow slider slash curveball. Patrick trying to throw that for strikes, as we mentioned before, early in the count, and establish that he'll throw that pitch in the zone, but that one missed badly. That one is down the right field line and fair in the corner. It'll get Posey home. And Slater has an RBI double. 1-0 San Francisco.
Now this will be something the Diamondbacks haven't experienced a lot recently, playing from behind in a ball game. They've taken leads in just about every ball game on that last road trip, but Slater bangs this ball down into the right field corner to get the Giants on the board.
And Slater has been up and down from the minors 4 times already this year. He's only been with the Giants again for a week during this latest stint. Just his second RBI of the season. Here's the Panda, Pablo Sandoval. Fastball down and away, misses. Sandoval 264 and 6 homers. He's not been much from the right hand side of the plate this year, switch hitter, but they are without Evan Longoria, who suffered a broken left hand a couple of weeks ago. He was hit by a pitch at Miami. So the Pandas in there at third. Hard to short, right at Ahmed. They'll go to third, and they get the out on Slater. What's the base running rule right there?
Don't do this. That's the rule. Ball's hit in front of you right to the shortstop. You're just running into an easy out at third base right there. Austin Slater, a little overly aggressive and thrown out by a wide margin over there at third base.
So now it's Sandoval at first. 2 outs for Austin Jackson, the center fielder. Hitting .241 with very little power this year. First pitch fastball is a strike. This is Jackson's first start in 13 games. In fact, he started only 5 times in their last 33 games. He's lost a lot of playing time to Gorkys Hernandez, who's had a good year for the Giants. But Jackson gets the start tonight against the left-hander. Another fastball. That was a pretty good pitch, but Ted Barrett didn't like it. It's 1-1. Borderline strike.
Well, the Diamondbacks are just hoping that their starting pitching continues to do what they did on that last road trip. A 7-2 record for the D-backs starters, an ERA just over 2.5. They average 6 innings per start.
You win with pitching, starting pitching.
Hey, fans, receive 15% off at the Chase Field Team Shop when you use the card by Gila River Casino. Sign up for the card today.
Shelby Miller goes tomorrow night. Zach Godley Sunday afternoon. Then the Cardinals come in for 3 starting on Monday. The Padres are in Thursday for the first of 4 on this long 10-game homestand. 2-2 on Jackson. Lays off the slider and it's full. You've got the pitcher Suarez on deck. Little tapper to shortstop. Ahmed goes to first. But the Giants get the early lead. D-backs trailing 1-0. $50-50 charity raffle presented by the Arizona Lottery. Right there from home, along with all of us here at the ballpark. Your chance to win half the pot and help kids in our community. Get your tickets online during every D-backs home game on Fox Sports Arizona at dbacks.com/50-50 raffle. And the winning number is revealed on the postgame show. David Peralta, the cleanup man, leads off the D-backs second against rookie lefty Andrew Suarez. Peralta batting .278. He's got 15 homers this year. Fastball's the strike, and it's 0-1. Peralta tonight playing in career game number 500. Up the middle, backs up Crawford. Tough play, and he made it look easy. Well, that's how you get it done. Crawford last year his 3rd straight National League Gold Glove at shortstop.
Now you get the feeling watching these 2 shortstops in this series, you're going to see some fantastic defensive plays. Crawford always positioned well, gets good jumps on the ball, and has one of the strongest throwing arms of any shortstop in the game.
Ketel Marte, the second baseman tonight, .240 and 6 homers. Told you Suarez is a strike thrower. He's just getting ahead in these counts. 15 pitches, 11 of them strikes. He does not mess around. Look out. That bat is way up in the screen and now in the D-back dugout. He got some serious hang time with this one.
Wow.
It almost made it over the screen.
It almost got hung up at the top of the screen. Wow.
You know, every game that goes on, the screen just seems like an absolute no-brainer. It's amazing it took as long as it did.
Yeah.
And it's great to see it all in the ballparks.
I mean, you'd like to think that the fans that are sitting down in the lower bowl always have their eye on the ball and the bat, but we know that that's not always the case. You come to the ballpark, you're socializing with the people around you.
That's the beauty of the game. He didn't go, says Chad Whitson at first, 1-2. Tap back to the mound. Suarez collects that one, and he set down the first 5 he's faced.
Hey fans, the D-backs home run tonight means a free jumbo jack tomorrow at participating Jack in the Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
Number 16, Chris Owings.
Chris Owings in center field tonight. CO 193 homers. Torrey has pretty much rotated everybody through to get their scheduled off day, rest day, quote unquote, on the last road trip. So we should be fully loaded for this homestand. Everybody's had a day or two in the last week. So the Owings Dyson platoon continues in center. CO in tonight against the lefty. A.J. Pollock starting in the outfield tonight for the Reno Aces. They are at Tacoma. So A.J.'s getting close. That rehab stint with the Aces, maybe it's 3 games, maybe it's 7 to 10, somewhere in there. They're not locked into one number. They're going to kind of see how he feels.
A.J. 0 for 1 tonight. First at bat, swung at the first pitch, hit a line drive to the right fielder.
Hang with him. Swing and bunt. That one's going to stay fair. Hang on. Hang on. All right. You got to talk to it, BB.
That's good coaching. I don't think the Giants would have had a play on Chris Owings even if Buster Posey or Pablo Sandoval picked that ball up. He's probably going to leg it out for an infield hit. So the Giants did the right thing. Just let it roll and hope it gets across that white line. It does not. Thought maybe coming off the grass right there, it might have enough momentum to sneak into foul territory, but fortunately for the D-backs, it stays fair. Big chunk of mud on the ball right there. Might have helped it stay fair.
Chance for Jake Lamb, who bats 7th tonight against the left-hander. Fastball is low. Jake comes in with a 7-game hitting streak. He has really hit the ball hard this month. 6 homers this year. 5 of them have come here in June. Ouch, he's done that a lot lately. He's hitting 7 straight, 370 over that span.
You know, a lot of his outs too, especially in Pittsburgh. We remember that one ball game he flied out 3 times to the wall.
He could have had 2 or 3 homers in that ball game. Fastball right there, 1-2. Jake this year 3 hits and 6 bases on balls versus lefties. His on base percentage against left-handers this year is over .330. So he's had some good at bats. Reaches out and pokes this one to shortstop. Crawford's got to hurry, and he's got no play. Owings overruns the bag, but he's back in time. The slowest of slowly hit balls for Lamb.
And with Brandon Crawford shading up the middle of the field, you see where he starts. He has to go to his right and come in on that ball. I think he felt like he just wasn't able to get a good grip on it to throw to first base, so he tries to shovel it back. to Hansen at second base. It's like CO just did get in underneath the tag right there. He was anticipating a throw to first, and he was just going to keep rolling on to third base.
Close. Jeff Mathis was not looking for a first pitch curveball. Jeff has hit safely in 4 of his last 5 games. He's had some big hits lately. 2-1 and 2 out right here. Owings at second and Lamb at first. Threw a scud up there, a curveball that hit 3 or 4 feet in front of the plate. I know your former teammate, battery mate Mike Krukow was visiting with us before the game, doing Giants TV just to our left here. He likes Suarez. He's a fan, right?
Yeah, he really is a big fan. He likes his stuff. As we mentioned at the top of the show, a couple different fastballs, a slider, curveball, changeup combination for his off-speed deliveries, and he mentioned that this guy has no fear. He didn't put it in those words, but
different terminology.
Yes.
So, yeah. Doing TV along with the great John Miller. Just keeps picking away with that fastball, 1-2. That was that hard 90-mile-an-hour slider, and Ted Barrett, as we've seen, has not been giving either pitcher that low strike. It's 2-2. That's a pretty good take right there by Jeff Mathis.
well, since it was called a ball, it was a good take.
That's right. Just got a piece of that curveball. D-backs have seen Suarez before. In fact, he made his major league debut against the Diamondbacks. That was in San Francisco, April 11th. Gave up 4 runs, 4 hits, went 5 1/3.
Gave up a couple of bombs in that game. Goldie hit a 2-run homer, and John Ryan Murphy a solo homer.
Bounce to third. Sandoval steps on the bag to force on Owings. We're through 2. A beautiful night back home in Phoenix, Arizona. D-backs trail it early, 1-0.
During that tough time, you know, none of us really panicked. There were some guys really struggling and some guys who probably got pissed off and showed some anger at some points, but collectively as a team, I've never seen such resiliency. I mean, you know, we knew we had the whole season ahead of us. It wasn't like we were completely down in the dumps or just out of our divisional race, but it was the weirdest stretch of baseball I think anyone's ever been through. And so to come out the end of it and now post the best record since, I think just really speaks to the team we actually are.
Archie Bradley addressing the team's 8-19 month of May. However, his words echoed by his teammates as well as the manager, Torrey, saying that he was so impressed that the team, when they hit the hard times, they never pointed fingers. They played united baseball. And Bob, I think he was just saying that this was a test for the team. How do they endure the bad times? And it looks like the Diamondbacks have come out on the other side very strong.
Well, certainly the month of June would tell you that, the way they played after that miserable month of May. You just hope that this good month of June carries over into July and they don't get on that roller coaster again. I don't think they will. But I agree with Archie. I'd never seen anything quite like it when the entire team goes into a slump.
Jeff Mathis throws out the pitcher, Suarez. Well, they're a very resilient group. Torrey, before the game today, we were asking him, you know, what was your proudest moment on the road trip, going 8-2 in 10 games, 3 cities? He said his proudest moment, when he was most proud of his team, was the first game in Anaheim, because not only was it the start of a long trip, it was coming off that gut punch loss to the Mets on Father's Day. And Goldie got the early home run in that first Angels game, and suddenly the whole thing was just behind them and they moved on. And you got to be able to do that to win divisions in this game.
Well, it used to be said about closers, their most valuable attribute was a short memory. I think the same thing stands true for an entire ball club. You've got to understand that you're not going to win every game. You're not going to play all-star caliber baseball every night. Your pitchers aren't always going to be on top of their game. Your hitters aren't always going to hit. But you just hope that you can ham and egg it. Get good enough pitching, good enough defense, good enough offense to just win games.
Hansen grounds out to third. And this is, as we said, game 82, so it's mathematically the first game of the second half of the year. But look what they've done through the first 81 games. All time, the lowest ERA ever. Fewest runs given up, fewest errors, the most holds. The bullpen has been outstanding. And they've done it while, frankly, not hitting all that well.
Not hitting much at all. The lowest batting average all time, the lowest on base percentage all time in the first half of a season.
Brandon Belt.
And that holds category that you mentioned, that's a wide margin. That's the most holds in Diamondbacks history. And I think that speaks to the game plan coming out of spring training. Hirano, Bradley, and Boxberger. If you've got a lead after 6 innings, you're going to use those 3 guys more than likely to finish the ball game. So the first 2 guys would get a hold, the last guy would get a save if they hang on, and they've hung on really well in the first half.
And they've done it without Randall Delgado, who's such an important piece in that bullpen. Randall will pitch tonight for Reno at Tacoma. So he's getting close to returning. But I think it also speaks to the job that Andrew Chafin has done against left-handers, Fernando Salas against right-handers, some of the other guys back there. And TJ McFarland, what he's done in a variety of different roles. He's been a godsend. 2-2. Full count on Belt with McCutchen on deck.
Yeah, the bullpen ERA in the first half of the season, 2.51. That's another thing that's lowest all time.
Missed with a fastball away. First base on balls issued by Corbin. Here comes McCutchen, who struck out to end the first.
You got a wide variety of breaking pitches from Patrick Corbin. He started him with that big slow curve for ball 1 and then a couple of hard sliders to get back into the count. He misses with the slider. And then after 3 in a row, he throws a 4th one, and McCutchen still swings right through it. Our nationwide vision, eye on the game.
Patrick, the command has not been quite as sharp as we saw in Pittsburgh. He's had some trouble throwing strikes so far, and he's fallen behind in some counts. See if he can get ahead of McCutchen right here. This is low with a fastball.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks bullpen in the first half of the season had 61 holds. The previous franchise record for the first half was 45.
Wow. And this is a bullpen that, because of the lack of offense,
really all season long, has had some very high leverage innings. They have not been easy holds. They've been out there with 1 or 2 run leads, tie games. D-backs, because of the offensive struggles, have had to try and win a lot of close games this year. Patrick, you can see the command not quite as sharp as it's been recently. Patrick with the return of Shelby Miller and Robbie Ray to the rotation, pitching tonight with some extra rest. They dropped those guys in there and sort of spread things out a little bit. Some guys like Zach Greinke did not want any extra rest. He likes a very regimented schedule. Corbin hasn't pitched in a week, so maybe that speaks to the early trouble with his control. He last pitched Friday in Pittsburgh. Behind on McCutchen, 2 balls and 1 strike. Good hard slider.
Andrew McCutchen is going to be seeing that pitch in his sleep tonight.
McCutchen with Posey on deck. McCutchen has been striking out a lot more often in his first season as a Giant. His strikeout rate is at a career high right now. Here's the 2-2. Belts it right in the hole, and Lamb is there at third. Bottom 3 on the way. D-backs trail it 1-0.
Video with hashtag Hats Off for Heroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
First D-backs game. Welcome to the ballpark. Everybody loves the D-backs back in town, but trailing the Giants early 1-0. Enhance your next game day experience with the MLB Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets, enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and a whole lot more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. Big crowd here with us on a Friday night in downtown Phoenix. Patrick Corbin, D-backs pitcher, leads off the bottom of the 3rd against rookie Andrew Suarez. Suarez another strike 1. I mentioned the struggling offense for the D-backs this year. A lot of that because of what happened in May. Last month the D-backs scored 77 runs. So far in June, they've scored 151 runs. Corbin taps to shortstop. So that means
As of this moment, they are 3 runs away from doubling their run total from the previous month. That's a pretty wild ride, man.
It really is amazing. The Diamondbacks rank 6th in the National League in runs scored, despite having the lowest batting average in the league, the 2nd lowest on base percentage in the National League. They're about league average in slugging percentage. It just gets back to getting the hits at the right time.
You get some good pitching, some good defense, a couple of key hits here and there, and you're leading the NLS by 3.5 games. John Jay lined out to shortstop his first time. Well, Suarez throws another strike one. There's that hard slider. That is an enormous difference maker for Andrew Suarez. He's got to throw first pitch strikes. This season, when he gets into an 0-1 count, batters are hitting .203 against him. When the count is 1-0, the batters are hitting .348. That's an enormous difference. And for the most part, he's thrown strike one all night so far. Fastball in, 1-2 on John Jay.
Almost got him in that knee. I think John Jay has that right knee padded as well. He'll occasionally stick that out there toward the inside corner and take one.
Punches a slow curveball foul. He's got that Armor All pad on there, on the shin, on the elbow, the sleeve, the whole thing. He's got a knack for getting hit by pitches. Suarez, 40 pitches, 30 strikes. As we mentioned, he's been throwing strike one. He's faced 10 batters so far. 7 first pitch strikes. He's been 1-2, 0-2 most of the night so far. Reaches down and taps it back to the mound.
Well, we know the Diamondbacks had a great month of April. May not so much, but then from May to June, look at the improvement in runs per game, batting average, average with runners in scoring position, and especially the on-base percentage. I think in May everybody was trying to hit their way out of a slump. Everybody was swinging and not taking the walks, not working deep counts, but you can see in the month of June the on-base percentage up over .330.
Here's Nick Ahmed. That May malaise was beyond belief. Every baseball person you talk to would say the same thing. I've never seen anything like this. An entire team just going to the tank offensively all at the same time and for that long a period of time.
Yeah. When I played with the Giants, it used to be June. They would call it the June gloom in San Francisco, and it seemed like every year most of the offense would disappear for the month of June. May malaise. You just hate things that rhyme like that, you know. June gloom. Ooh.
June boom is better, I guess.
There you go. Think positive.
That's what we've had. Well, he's really mixing things up well, moving that fastball around. He's got that hard slider and the slow curveball. And he's been ahead in the count. It's 1-2 on Nick. Fights off a fastball. That one gets out of play. Nick, as he so often is, batting second against the left-hand starter. He's batting about 100 points higher versus lefties this year than against righties. Boy, Ted Barrett has been very consistent with that low strike. He is not going to give it to you. Goldie would be next. That's a base hit into center. Good two-strike approach from Nick Ahmed. He's on base for Goldie. Let's go down to Kate.
Well, guys, you were touching on exactly what Torrey has been talking about this month as well with the production of offense he's seen from the Diamondbacks. And he said the big difference is he felt like in May, when the players were stepping to the plate, they were trying to hit that 6-run home run. Obviously, they were trying to go after the impossible. But he said he feels like back to June, they went back to the basics, simplifying things, trusting the person behind you can do their job, and then all of a sudden the players were making it a little bit more easy when they stepped inside the batter's box, and we saw that natural intuition carry through.
And it's carried through, Kate, for the entire month. And it's got him 13 games over 500, matching a season high. Goldie now ahead in the count, 1-0. Remember what a difference that makes for Suarez. 2 balls and no strikes. Misses with a changeup. 50 pitches, 35 strikes. He's not walked a batter. He's only struck out 1. A lot of soft contact. This is low. Another changeup, and it's 3-0. Goldie has wrecked the Giants this season. How about this? 485 against the Giants in 9 games. 10 extra base hits.
Somewhere Tim Lincecum is saying, see, it wasn't all me.
You're right. Goldie's most of those numbers have come at AT&T Park, where he has had just 2 monster series this year. Floats a curveball up, and there's his first base on balls, and now a chance for David Peralta, 2 on and 2 out. David grounded out to short his first time up. So here's David. He's hitting .320 for the month of June. He's got 8 home runs this month. Ahmed at second, Goldie at first, 2 outs. First pitch swinging, dribbler up the middle. Hansen makes a tough play, but Peralta beats it out, and they're loaded for Marte. Well, the D-backs have made those slow infield rollers work for them so far tonight.
3rd infield hit in the ball game for the Diamondbacks. This one well placed up the middle of the field. Hansen's going to have a tough play to throw back across his body there and get David Peralta, and David easily beats it out at first base. He knows the problems that Hansen is going to have making that play. Smells that infield hit and beats it out.
We've talked about how much the D-backs have improved in the month of June, and this young man is a big reason why. Ketel Marte, bases full and 2 down. Well, Suarez has been throwing a lot of changeups the second time through the order, but he cannot throw them for strikes, and he's not getting any swings and misses. They're laying off that changeup. Another tapper. Crawford in the hole. And the D-backs leave them loaded through 3. It stays 1-0 San Francisco.
Celebrate Independence Day with friends and family inside air-conditioned Chase Field. Coming up Wednesday, 7 o'clock against the Cardinals. And after the ball game, there you see it, the biggest and the best fireworks spectacular in town. Presented by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. Fireworks at Chase Field on the 4th. It's a D-backs tradition. Get your tickets now at dbacks.com. Buster Posey leads off the Giant 4th. Posey singled and scored his first time up. Came home on a RBI double by the rookie Austin Slater. There's a low strike from Ted Barrett. 1-1. Jeff Mathis really wants Corbin to establish that fastball. That was a big priority in Pittsburgh last week, and it really worked well because it gets him ahead in counts and it really sets up that killer slider. It's got to start with a fastball for Corbin, and he's got to move it around. Got the fastball. There's the breaking ball. That's what Torrey really liked about the Mathis-Corbin combo last week, in that Jeff really got on him to follow that game plan and push Patrick maybe to do some things that he really hadn't done much of this year. He kind of stayed on him a little bit more. There's a fly ball to left. Peralta running near the line, and he's got it.
You know, partner, we've been talking a lot about the Diamondbacks' first half of the season since we're at the halfway point and where they rank all time. Through the first 81 games, the fewest runs allowed. This year's team by 22 runs has allowed the fewest through 81 games. And part of the reason for that is the fact that the Diamondbacks catch the ball.
Pitching and defense.
Yeah, 31 errors through 81 games this year, beating the record back in 2013 by 5. Now those work hand in hand, the runs allowed, the pitcher's ERA, and defense.
Well, you know, it's funny because when we went through the May malaise, and some fans sort of got to the point where they thought, well, you know, maybe Yasmani Tomas, why don't, nobody's hitting, bring Tomas up and maybe he'll do something. Crawford fouls that one back, but Yasmani's defense, no matter how bad the offense was going to go, just wasn't up to par. And there's a certain level that's expected by the front office here, and until any player shows that level, they're just not going to be in the equation.
Well, it all has to work hand in hand. You know, you get a pitcher that executes the proper pitch, you get a lazy fly ball or ground ball through the infield, and somebody doesn't make a play on that ball. That puts pressure on the pitching staff, puts more pressure on the defense on the next batter. It just compounds itself. You've got to catch the balls that you're supposed to.
Run prevention is as important as run production. You don't have to score 6-7 runs a game if you're only giving up 2 or 3.
Hey fans, the day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Lined into right field, right through the shift for Crawford. A 1-out single.
Stays back on that breaking ball, pulls his hands in close to his body to make sure he gets the barrel on that ball. Little soft line drive that finds its way through into right field for a base hit.
Great example of a guy who now at the age of 31, an established veteran, just continues to get better every year. Here's the rookie Slater. Double down the right field line back in the second. Patrick again trying to land that slow curveball for a strike early in counts, and he just hasn't been able to do it so far tonight. Keeps missing with it. He wants to throw that pitch for a strike when he throws it that early.
I get the biggest kick out of this every time I read it in the Giants media guide talking about Brandon Crawford. Came from a sports family. His sister Amy was a former softball player at UCLA and married Garrett Cole, starting pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. That has to create some sticky situations when the Pirates and Giants hook up, I would think.
I guess you can't throw at your brother-in-law, right?
I don't know.
Maybe you can. If you're the Pirates, you can. Throw at your own mother, right?
Those would be some good wiffle ball games at family reunions, huh?
Crawford, like Torey Lovello, a UCLA Bruin. 1-2 on Slater.
We talked about that big slow curveball from Patrick Corbin that he likes to use to steal strikes, especially against right-handed hitter. He's thrown 4 first-pitch slow curveballs in this game. None of them have been in the strike zone yet.
That's a priority too. He feels like the pitch has had the same good break on it lately. He just hasn't been located in the strike zone as often as he'd like. Roll down the line, fair, tricky play for Lamb. What a throw and what a play. Jake Lamb at third. That was a beauty.
Well, the good thing is Jake realized right away the only play he was going to have is across the diamond to first base. Long one-hop throw to Goldie, who stretches out toward right field to make that play. Nicely done. Oh, by the way, Brandon Crawford is 6 for 20 with a homer lifetime against Garrett Cole.
It's in his head. Crawford's at second, 2 outs for the Panda. Sandoval in at third base today.
This is another category where the Diamondbacks have excelled this year. 2 outs with runners in scoring position. The Diamondbacks have allowed the fewest runs in the National League. Only 68 runs have scored with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. The Giants, on the other hand, have given up 118 runs in those situations, the second most in the National League.
"70 pitches, 40 strikes for Corbin. He has walked 1, struck out 3. And you can always tell when Patrick doesn't quite have the confidence that he has when things are really rolling. He's often on the mound quickly. Then when things are not quite up to snuff, the shoulders slump a little bit and he tends to slow down his pace and his tempo out there. This is with a fastball in. It's 2-0. And he's moving a little slowly right now.
It's not uncommon for pitchers to try to take the pace of the game away from the offense and take it out to the mound. You just have to be able to pitch at a slower pace. And from what we've seen from Patrick, he always seems to be much better the quicker he works. Most pitchers are better if they work quickly.
Crawford peering in at the signs from second, so Mathis is running through that long set. Throws that slow breaking ball for a strike, just sneaks it in the back door there. Throw down to second. They got Crawford hung up. And he runs into an out. Nice heads-up play by the D-backs defense. It stays 1-0 San Francisco.
By the swing, he saw Pablo Sandoval chase that high pitch, took one extra step toward third base. And for Jeff Mathis, that put him in no man's land. And Mathis fired a strike down to Ketel Marte to pick off the Giants shortstop.
And Chris Owings, the center fielder, leads off the D-backs fourth against rookie left-hander Andrew Suarez. D-backs have out-hit the Giants 4-3, but they trail it 1-0. Misses with a curveball, and Suarez is behind 1-0. CO had a swing and bunt single his first time up that just did stay fair up the third base line. Fouls off a fastball, and it's 1-1. Mentioned Suarez does not have a lot of tangible results through his rookie season so far. The record is only 2-4 in 12 starts, but he's pitched well lately. A 2.86 ERA in his last 5 starts all this month. He's kind of been the no decision guy in the rotation. Over his last 3 starts, Suarez has given up a total of only 5 runs. He's kept the D-backs scoreless so far tonight, 2-2. Previous outing was last Saturday against San Diego at AT&T Park. Jake Lamb on deck. Suarez kept the Padres to just 1 run in 5 2/3. That fastball is right there for strike 3.
Anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Here's Jake Lamb. Jake had an infield single his first time up. D-backs have had very little hard contact against Suarez so far. First pitch curveball is in there. High chopper backhanded by the Panda at third. That's a nice play by Pablo Sandoval. He made it look easy on the short hop.
It's kind of smothered it, get into a position where you get that ball before it gets up above knee level. It's kind of smothered it against the ground, made a nice throw across the diamond. Sandoval's always been a better than average defender at third base despite his body.
They are, of course, without Evan Longoria, who was hit on the left hand by a pitch a couple of weeks ago, suffered a fractured left hand. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. Here's Mathis. There was a run last year right about this time when Jeff, you could write it down in ink. He was going to go 1 for 4. He had about a 6-week run where he was good for 1 hit, maybe the occasional RBI every game, and he's kind of in that mode right now. He's hit safely in 4 of his last 5. And they're down to 2 catchers right now with Avila on the DL, so he'll be playing a little more often. Probably Mathis with Corbin and Greinke, and John Ryan Murphy with the other 3 guys, Shelby, Godley, and Robbie Ray. That's what they're thinking at this point anyway, with Avila on the DL with that hamstring problem. There's an extra hitter here now. Jimmy Sherfy was sent back to Reno, and Christian Walker called up from the Aces, so there's a right-hand bat on the bench for Torey Lovullo. They'd been carrying the extra reliever with Matt Cook down there. There's the fastball, swing and a miss. 3 strikeouts for Suarez, and through 4 he leads it 1-0. Great place to hang out. Fans, Game of Thrones night is coming up next Saturday, July 7th. Get a lower level game ticket and this exclusive Ice Dragon bobblehead, all for only $50, or the VIP pack for $65. Limited quantities still left. You got to get on this. Send your Raven to dbacks.com/GOT, and there is the Ice Dragon bobblehead.
Oh, very nice.
That is an exclusive D-backs item you can only get at Game of Thrones night here in the ballpark, modeled by the lovely Bob Brenly. Now, of course, you know the whole backstory to the Ice Dragon. I don't have to go over that with you because you're a Game of Thrones nut.
Come on.
Pablo Sandoval leads off the 5th. Yeah, Daenerys lost one of her 3 dragons to the Night King when they went north of the wall to find one of the members of the Army of the Dead to convince Cersei that it actually existed. And as you know, the Night King threw that ice spear, got the dragon, they pulled it out from the water, and now he's on the bad side, and Daenerys is down to 2 dragons. And an Ice Dragon melted the wall, and now here they come, and off we go.
You can't just call up another Ice Dragon from the minors?
There were only 3 dragons in existence.
Oh,
and now,
okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. That's why she's the mother of dragons, as you know. Breaker of chains and the whole thing. Sandoval plunks one into left.
I feel like the Panda could be a Game of Thrones character. You could get him in there somewhere.
He's some kind of character, that's for sure. You know, we just came from Miami and we talked a lot about Starlin Castro and his ability to steadily get the bat on the ball. I think Pablo Sandoval's right out of that same mold. He hits a lot of pitches that are out of the strike zone for base hits. He'll chase pitches up around his neck. He'll chase pitches down around the dirt, inside, outside, but somehow finds a way to get the bat on the ball.
Here's Austin Jackson. Do you think in this era of strike zone discipline and walks and working counts and on base percentage that there are still, or is still, room in the game for guys who are bad ball hitters? Or is that just so frowned upon now that they're sort of a dying breed?
Well, I think for some organizations they are a dying breed. I mean, because, you know, the people that you target in the draft, the people that you target in trades or acquisitions over the course of a season as you build your organization, guys that are free swingers, that don't walk very much, that have low on base percentage, but, you know, maybe get a bunch of hits over the course of the season, I think they're going to kind of get pushed to the side.
It's kind of a shame in a year that, as Brian Henry points out, Vlad Guerrero's headed to Cooperstown. Deep to center for CO, just shy of the warning track. Sandoval holds it first. Here's the pitcher, Suarez.
Now, if you can still hit 330 and walk 10 times a year, I think a lot of teams would say, we can live with it. We can live with it. But, you know, you better hit 330.
And of course, Vlad Jr. is one of the top prospects in baseball. And he's a lot like his dad, so we'll see. He's kind of a good test case for that discussion. Suarez fouls off the bunt attempt as Lamb and Goldie come in. Corbin, 80 pitches, only 47 strikes. He's not been all that sharp with his control, but he's hanging in there. It's only a 1-0 ball game. It's kind of one of those nights where you got to sort of do the best you can with what you got, and he's not got his A game tonight, but he's kept the D-backs in and only 1-0. Showed bunt. Drew Lamb in from third, took a cut, and now it's 0-2.
Not a bad strategy, not the greatest execution in the world, but you know, you show bunt. Jake Lamb came charging in from third base. He was already playing in, and then pull the bat back and try to slap it by him.
Squares up again. Well, what do you think of your team's execution? I'm in favor of it.
I'm in favor.
2 down. The great John McKay. Here's the leadoff man, Alan Hansen, who's 0 for 2. Hansen has been a real problem for the D-backs. He's playing second base today. He's been something of a D-backs killer. He's had 3 pinch hit at bats against the D-backs in the last series at San Francisco, and as you may recall, in those 3 at bats, he doubled twice and homered. Every time he looked up, Hansen was coming up late in the game as a pinch hitter, and he got a big hit. He knocked in 4 runs in those 3 at bats. But so far tonight, as a starter, he's struck out and grounded out. Remember that day game in San Francisco? Brad Boxberger struggled, came on with a lead, and Hansen had the big home run in that game. This is a guy that's kind of come off the scrap heap and done a nice job for the Giants. There's that low slider, swing and a miss. Mathis will finish off the strikeout. That's 4 for Patrick. Bottom 5, D-backs trail it 1-0.
Cooling off at the pool here at Chase Field. D-backs fans, if you can't watch the games on TV, don't forget you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Brought to you locally by your Valley Honda dealers. Download the free app, take Fox Sports Arizona, and your D-backs with you wherever you go. 1-0 on Patrick Corbin. And leads off the home half of the fifth against Andrew Suarez. Patrick rounded out his first time up. Suarez has retired the last 4 he's faced. Biggest out of the ball game for him was against Ketel Marte, who was up in the bottom of the third. Bases loaded, 2 outs. He got Marte to ground out. That was the biggest scoring chance for the D-backs so far tonight. They have managed only 4 hits, most of them all infield singles. Corbin putting up a fight. How did he get a piece of that?
I don't know. Wow,
that was sirens and alarm bells and red lights going off on that emergency hack.
I'm not real familiar with cricket, but that looked kind of like a cricket swing.
That was a wicked googly. Well, he's hanging in there now. It's 2-2. .75 pitches for Suarez, 50 for strikes. Tough play. Can't get it by the mound. Suarez will take it himself. That gets by the pitcher, and Corbin's likely got himself a base hit.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Just a little chopper. Looked like it was going to be another infield base hit, but Suarez gets off the mound, finishes in pretty good defensive position, and runs that one down all by himself.
Here's the hustle. Well, now is the 3rd time through the order for Suarez. John Jay, the leadoff man, 0 for 2. Time to get something going. Dodgers are hosting the Rockies tonight. They're opening up a series in LA. They're scoreless right now in the 4th inning. Padres at home against Pittsburgh. Pirates have a 3-0 lead at Petco Park. D-backs begin tonight 3.5 up on LA atop the NL West. They're 5.5 games ahead of the Giants and 8 games up on Colorado. Three 3-0 on Jay. Nick Ahmed on deck. Nick singled his last time up. Missed badly with a fastball. A 1-out walk. Second base on balls issued by Suarez. Nick, I think, has the hardest hit ball tonight. He singled into right center his last time up. Everything else has been infield tappers.
Goldie hit that ball to the wall in right field to end the first inning, but other than that, there just hasn't been much loud contact.
No. Here's Nick with Jay at first and 1 out. Each team now with 4 hits. Suarez starting to miss a little more often, not getting ahead in counts as consistently as he did the first time through the order. This is out to McCutchen in right. 2 down. Here's Goldie. He is flying out, as Bob mentioned. He walked his last time up, 0 for 1. Jay, the runner at first, 2 outs. Back up the box, off the mound. Hansen smothers it, and he's got no play.
Diamondbacks piling up the infield hits here, right back up the middle. Hansen gets to it, but loses his footing. By the time he recovers, Goldie's safe at first on another infield hit.
The Diamondbacks, in their first 81 games this season, had 41 infield hits. They've got 4 just tonight. And it's only the 5th inning. Conference time at the mound for the Giants. Crawford and Posey out there with Suarez. I don't believe there's anyone warming up in their bullpen. Bullpen is quiet for the Giants. Here's Peralta, who singled his last time. Broken bat roller up the first base line. Belt collects that one, and Suarez strands 2. We are through 5. D-backs still trail it 1-0.
Aaron Hill hit for the cycle. Wow, that is something to hit for the cycle. Homer, triple, double, single.
Yeah, that's like a once-in-a-lifetime deal.
Oh, no, it isn't. 11 days later, he does it again against the Milwaukee Brewers. Aaron Hill, the first modern-era player to hit for the cycle twice in one season.
That led to the Aaron Hill bicycle bobblehead day.
Very nice. I like that one.
Here's Brandon Bell to start the 6th against Patrick Corbin. Patrick has given up only 1 run on 4 hits. He has walked 1, struck out 5. Shift is on. He hits right into it. Nice play by Ketel Marte. A backhand smother in the outfield.
Arranging several steps over to his right.
Well, I'm sorry, Bob. You were talking about the difference in the size of the gloves with Chris Owings, the infield and the outfield. You could see in that shot how tiny that infield glove is for Marte. And Owings looks like a highlight stick or something.
Yeah, those outfield gloves are 11, 12 inches long from the very heel of the glove out to the very tip of the fingers. Infield gloves sometimes aren't even 6 inches long. A lot of second basemen, I played with Joe Morgan toward the tail end of his career. He used a glove that was barely bigger than a batting glove.
Owings' glove right now in center has got to be literally twice as big as Marte's at second. Here's McCutchen 0 for 2. D-backs send Marte over to the shortstop side of the bag at second. The shift is on against McCutchen. Goldie all by himself on the right-hand side. There's that slow curveball for a strike.
It's technically a slider. Patrick uses his same slider grip with that pitch, but it looks and acts like a curveball. It's got a different shape and velocity to it. On the ground to third for Lamb. Corbin has retired 5 in a row. Buster Posey. He singled to lead off the second inning, scored on Austin Slater's RBI double, and that has been all the offense in the ball game. Fastball was just off the plate, but it's strike one, says Ted Barrett. Just kind of nibbling away and away on Posey, and he's jumped ahead 0-2. Boy, you would think that by now Buster Posey has seen that hard back foot slider from Patrick Corbin about 1,000 times. It must seem like 1,000 anyway. Got a fastball up, and it's 2-2.
It's one of those pitches that doesn't really make it any easier to hit.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Those pitches keep showing up as changeups. That's the pitch that Patrick kind of gave up on, but we've seen it more than once here tonight. That's a new wrinkle. Fastball is grounded to short for Ahmed. 6 in a row set down by Patrick. D-backs need some offense. They still trail 1-0.
You have to pay close attention to how you pitch him. In this particular at bat, everything away. Fastball away for a called strike, slider away for a called strike, bounced a slider in the dirt, elevated a fastball, tried a change up there, really caught us by surprise, and then Buster chases a 91-mile-an-hour heater off the plate away, pulls it to the left side for an easy ground ball.
Yeah, that changeup is a pitch that Patrick this year has thrown only 1% of the time all season, but he's thrown about 5 or 6 here tonight. That's really something new for him, relatively new anyway, in terms of the frequency.
Here, Tel Marte leads off the D-back sixth.
Yeah, coming into tonight, Patrick had thrown 1,543 pitches. 15 of them were changeups. Tonight, he's thrown 6 out of his 97 pitches, so he has gone to it a little bit more tonight than we're used to seeing.
Right field, McCutchen on the run, and it's over his head off the wall. Here's Marte. He's at second. He'll stop there. Well, if this is June, it must be an extra base hit for Ketel Marte. That's his 16th extra base hit this month.
It takes a 93-mile-an-hour heater there with a couple of inches off the plate away, but because of his approach, he was able to barrel that ball over the head of Andrew McCutchen for a leadoff double here in the bottom of the sixth.
D-backs trying to get the equalizer home. Marte in scoring position, nobody out. Here's Chris Owings. Now Belt is going to come in on the grass at first. He's off the bag. Sandoval in on the grass. Toes on the grass at third.
Well, we'll see how Torrey wants to play this here with Chris Owings. If he is going to bunt, it needs to be to third base for Sandoval to come in and make the play, clearing a path for Ketel Marte to go from second to third base.
Now Sandoval backs up a step or two now. Almost even with a bag. Here comes Belt from first. Fastball away, missed. Slow curveball off the plate, but strike one, says Ted Barrett.
That's the first time the Diamondbacks have really had a rally start at the top of the inning. You see what they've done today with less than 2 outs. They're only 1 for 11. With 2 outs, they're 5 out of 10. Tough to start those rallies with 2 outs.
One is fouled away. Rockies now lead in LA 1-0. They're at the 5th at Dodger Stadium. Pirates 5-0 lead at San Diego. They're in the 4th. Here it's been 1-0 Giants ever since the second inning.
Pat Valaika with a home run for the Rockies tonight to give them a lead.
Well, they are really staying away from Owings here. Fastballs and breaking balls.
Boy, and you'd think for what Chris Owings is trying to accomplish this at bat, that would play right into his hands. He wants to move that ball to the right side of the field, ideally a base hit to right field, but at worst move Marte up to third base with 1 out in the inning for Jake Lamb.
Suarez at 90 pitches, 59 strikes. Bullpen quiet for the Giants. There's a tapper. Marte will get third. Sandoval charges. And they do get Owings at first, says Chad Whitson, but hold on, we need to take a look at this one. That was awfully close.
Could it possibly be another infield hit?
Sure looked like it from up here. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's safe.
And they will challenge. Headsets are coming on. Chad Whitson comes over from first. Ted Barrett, the crew chief, from behind the plate, and we'll talk to New York. This is going to get overturned.
And it shouldn't take too long, but while we do have a moment here, very important birthday in baseball history today. The late Harmon Killebrew was born on this day, one of only 30 players all time born in the state of Idaho. Although he made his home here in Scottsdale for the longest time, as you get a look at that play, and Chris Owings is indeed ruled safe at first. Harmon Killebrew was a 13-time All-Star, played 22 seasons in the big leagues, was the most valuable player in the American League in 1969. Hall of Fame inductee in 1984, finished his career with 573 homers, and Harmon still has a lot of friends and family here in the Valley.
Some of those great Minnesota Twins teams of the 60s. Here's Jake Lamb. He has singled and grounded out. They're on the corners with nobody out. D-backs down 1-0. This is their best chance tonight. Lamb
Lamb shoots it to left center. Slater's there. Here comes Marte, and we're tied at 1.
That's why it's so important. Somehow, some way, move that runner from second to third base. Setting it up, and Jake Lamb just hits a line drive out there to left field, deep enough that Slater had no play at Ketel Marte at the plate. Diamondbacks tie it up.
Mathis 0 for 2. Pitcher spot is up next. Corbin is coming out into the on-deck circle, but there is action in the D-back bullpen. Patrick right now at 97 pitches in the ballgame. Boy, Jake Lamb with runners in scoring position now 5 for his last 8 with 5 RBIs. Oh, 0-1 on Mathis. Owings at first, 1 out. Look out, Tony Perez-Chica. Hung a curveball. Andrew Chafin getting loose in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. Corbin is in the on-deck circle at 97 pitches. They do have the extra right-hand bat on the bench, with Christian Walker getting brought up from AAA Reno today. Something to think about with a left-hander out there. Fastball's up.
Well, you know, Bruce Bochy's thought about that. He looks at his lineup card. He looks at the extra guys. He understands that the pitcher spot is coming up here in the 6th inning. So he's got a right-hander going down in his bullpen just in case.
That might have been Moranta down there. Slider was hung. Mathis missed it 1-2. Yeah. Reyes Moranta, the hard-throwing right-hander in the Giant bullpen. So Bochy ready to counter if they decide to hit Walker for Corbin. Nice scoop by Buster Posey, keeps Owings at first. 2-2. Dave McKay coaching at first. It's a great scenario here when you talk about matchups and what ifs. You've got Crawford, the left-hander, due to lead off the 7th. Sandoval, who you want to flip to the right side, sort of behind him. So Torrey has his left-hander ready if he has to hit for Corbin. Bochy has his right-hand pitcher ready if Walker comes up to hit. If that's the move that Torrey makes, and it looks like that's exactly what we'll get. So both guys are ready for every possible scenario. And Corbin goes back to the dugout, and here comes Christian Walker. So we'll see if Moranta comes into the game for the Giants. Well, there Walker is announced. Kurt Young, the pitching coach, coming out. So they may stay with the left-hander here, or they're just trying to buy some more time.
Hey fans, mark your calendar for this year's 20th anniversary celebration on August 4th. The annual alumni game festivities presented by Sanderson Ford will start at 2 o'clock, followed by the Diamondbacks Giants game. The first 20,000 fans will get the 20th anniversary team t-shirt courtesy of Gila River Hotels and Casinos. Visit dbacks.com/alumni for more information.
So Reyes Moranta, the right-hander, ready in the Giant bullpen, but they'll stick with the rookie left-hander Suarez to face the right-hand batting Christian Walker.
recalled from AAA Reno today. He is 3 for 17 in 17 games for the D-backs this year.
Yeah, this is one of those decisions Bruce Bochy had to make. You either have Suarez facing Walker, or if you go to the right-hander, you're probably going to get Daniel Descalso. Maybe not this early in the ball game. Torrey might like to save Daniel for an at-bat later in the game if it stays close. But those are the kind of things you have to think about. Well, if I bring my right-hander in to face Walker, you're probably not going to face Walker. You're going to get a left-handed bat off the bench.
Would Torrey burn 2 pinch hitters in the 6th inning like that?
That's why I said it's probably a little too early in the game to burn 2 players for 1 at bat, especially with nobody in scoring position. If there was a runner at second or second and third, then I think you would see Torrey send Descalso up there against a right-hand pitcher.
It's amazing how many scenarios there are to sort of work through while all this is happening. Walker is 3 for 13 as a pinch hitter this year. That includes a double and a home run. So the D-backs who were carrying the extra relief pitcher on the last road trip through Pittsburgh and Miami now are carrying the extra bat off the bench in Walker as Sherfy went back down to AAA. Boy, that fastball was right down the pipe, and it's 0-2. This young man's done a pretty good job here tonight.
Yeah, he has. Really good job. I was going to say Christian Walker hit a pinch hit 479-foot home run against the Dodgers here, the 10th longest in Chase Field history and tied for the 3rd longest in the major leagues this year.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights of the season. Out onto the Friday's Front Row Grill. Chased a high fastball. Suarez, they stuck with him. He got the big strikeout, but the D-backs get the equalizer. We're tied at 1. Giveaway is happening right now. You can nominate a family or a nonprofit organization that needs a brand new air conditioning system by logging on to chazroberts.com/coolplay. Got to hurry up though. Tomorrow is the deadline to submit your nomination. A great job by our friends as they do every year at Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Here's the Sheriff, Andrew Chafin, out to start the 7th inning, his 40th appearance of the year. And we were talking about all those holds and how many more the D-backs have than they've had in the past. This young man is a big reason why. A 1.55 ERA. Brandon Crawford, the left-hand batter, leads it off. He has struck out in single. So Chafin has Crawford, the lefty, the rookie Slater, a right-hand hitter, and then Sandoval, who you want batting from the right side. So advantage D-backs in at least 2 of the 3 matchups in this inning. Slider misses and Chafin is behind 2-0. Andrew, 9 straight scoreless appearances. Fastball's a strike. He is 4th in the National League with those 39 appearances. And he has given up only 2 extra base hits against his last 77 left-hand batters. That's going all the way back to August of last year. Lays off a breaking ball, and Crawford's ahead, 3 balls and a strike. Slater on deck, Sandoval behind him. Couldn't check on a low fastball, and it's full 3-2. Crawford is hitting .290 against lefties this year. In fact, he's got more home runs against left-hand pitchers than he does against right-handers. Got a fastball and punched it foul. So Crawford has made consistent hard contact against lefties this year. Those are very good numbers.
He's just a good hitter.
Sure is. Lays off that fastball away, a leadoff walk.
Well, another solid performance by Patrick Corbin in the ball game tonight. Had that slider working, spotting his fastball on the edges. Did throw a few more pitches than he probably needed to in this ball game, but boy, that slider is just devastating to opposing hitters. One thing I didn't realize until I took a look at the game notes today, Patrick Corbin has 13 games this season with at least 7 strikeouts. That's tied for the most in the majors with Chris Sale.
I think he was second in the league in strikeouts coming into the game. He's been among the major league leaders all year. Here's Slater.
Among the lefties.
Well, he's had an all-star caliber season. Hopefully he's there represented the D-backs. Don't forget, fans, got to make sure your D-backs are represented at the all-star game coming up on Fox next month. dbacks.com/vote. Oh, 2.
Boy, both these teams here tonight have done an outstanding job of inducing ground ball double plays. The Giants are #1 in the National League with 78. The Diamondbacks are #2 with 72. Hopefully make it 73 right here.
Boy, that's kind of how he hit his RBI double in the second. Just sort of inside outed it down the right field line. Yoshihisa Hirano warming up in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. Yoshi has been rolling 24-game scoreless streak, the longest active scoreless streak in the majors right now.
Crawford's been thrown out more than he's been successful attempting to steal this season. 3 stolen bases, 4 caught stealing. Got picked off second base earlier in the ball game by Jeff Mathis.
Well, Slater keeps fighting off these fastballs. Slater just over 50 games this year at AAA Sacramento, is hitting .344. He was one of the top hitters in the Coast League when he was called up last week. He's been up and down from the minor leagues 4 times already this year.
Yeah, Slater's here partially because of the struggles of Mac Williamson. You remember Williamson early in the season was just tearing it up down in the Coast League. They called him up to the major leagues, crashed into the wall in left field at AT&T Park, suffered a concussion, went on the disabled list, and just has not been able to find that swing. So they've got him down in AAA trying to get things ironed out, and in the meantime Austin Slater comes up here and starts to do some things with the bat.
And you've also got still in the equation Hunter Pence, who is just essentially a bench player, and it looks so far from what we're used to seeing from Hunter Pence. Now at the age of 35, it has been a struggle to say the least for him, but he's hanging in there. He's only got 20 hits all season, Hunter Pence, barely playing. And this is trouble. It's down in right center field. Crawford on the run. He's headed for third. He's coming in. Here's the relay for Marte. It's cut off, and it's 2-1 San Francisco. Austin Slater has knocked in both Giant runs, a pair of RBI doubles.
Diamondbacks very quickly developing a book on Austin Slater. He likes to drive that ball to the opposite field, splits that gap in right center. Brandon Crawford had a real good read at first base, got a tremendous jump. Ron Wotus, the third base coach, waving him all the way, never hesitated. And the Giants take a 2-1 lead.
So Slater, an RBI double in the second, now another one in the seventh. He's made it 2-1 San Francisco, still nobody out. And here's Sandoval, who's 1 for 2. You know, hits like that don't just happen. He fouled off a whole bunch of pretty good fastballs just to get to that pitch. He only had 1 RBI all season. He's got 2 tonight. 0-1 on the Panda. Sandoval is a .305 hitter, batting left-handed. He's under $150 from the right side. That's pretty much always been the case with him. He's got all his power as a left-hand batter as well. Chafin gets him to pop up behind second. Marte drifting out there. And that's the first out in the 7th inning. Here's Austin Jackson, the center fielder. 0 for 2. Jackson's a guy that just has not hit this year. They signed him over the winter. He thought, yeah, that's a pretty good signing. He can play all 3 outfield spots and he can hit a little bit, but his slugging percentage this season is in the 200s. As Ted Barrett breaks up the mound visit, here comes Torey Lovullo. He's got his right-hander Hirano ready in the bullpen. He's going to go to Yoshi right here. So we'll take a break from Chase Field. D-backs trailing the Giants 2-1. forget, fans, one of the must-have items of the year is coming up tomorrow, as modeled here by the lovely Bob Brenly, our D-backs duffel bag giveaway, courtesy of Gila River Hotels and Casinos. First 20,000 fans to our game tomorrow night, 7:10. Take home this, the D-backs duffel bag. Get tickets at dbacks.com. There it is. You can also store your Ice Dragon Game of Thrones bobblehead in the D-backs duffel bag.
Has the shoulder strap, has the regular handles. It's got some pockets on the end to put the dirty equipment at the end of the ball game. I mean, these are nice. You're going to want one of those.
First 20,000 fans with us tomorrow night get the D-backs duffel. Here's Yoshi Hirano, who has just been dynamite out of the bullpen. 24-game scoreless streak going right now, the longest in the majors, and tied for the longest overall in team history with J.J. Putz and Brandon Lyon. On to face the center fielder Austin Jackson, with Slater at second and 1 out. J.J. Putz in 2012, Brandon Lyon back in 2008. Also put together 24-game scoreless streaks. Yoshi's comes over a span of 21 2/3 innings. Boy, that was awfully high for a split finger pitch. That's not what you want. 2-0. Pitcher's spot is up next. Gorkys Hernandez has come out in the on deck circle for the Giants. He's having a really nice year. Tried to check on the split. It's a strike, 2-1. Austin Jackson, 8 years in the big leagues. He's played for everybody. The Tigers, the Mariners, the Cubs, the White Sox, the Indians, now the Giants. Got a 2-year deal from the Giants back in January. Fastball up after a couple of splits, and it's 2-2.
Over Hirano's 24-game scoreless streak, he's inherited 12 base runners. Only one has come around to score.
He has proven to be a tremendous signing by Mike Hazen's front office. Longtime closer in Japan. Used to pitching in these big spots. You can see he starts off with that split finger grip. Look at the baseball in his hand right there. Fingers are spread wide apart. Mathis set up inside, then drifted back away for the fastball. It just missed, and now it's full 3-2.
That's Yoshi's version of the quick pitch. We've seen a lot of, especially relief pitchers around the major leagues, occasionally do that quick slide step and deliver the ball quickly to home plate, especially if you've got a big, long, involved delivery. Otherwise, just missed his spot by a little bit.
Good shot from our crew of that split finger grip. Then he'll readjust the grip with the ball inside the glove. Here it is, full count. Called strike 3. Just off the plate, but Ted Barrett rings up Jackson, 2 down.
Splitter on that outside corner. We'll call it a corner.
And downstairs to Kate.
Well, guys, you referenced Yoshi's scoreless streak, and Tori said that doesn't happen by accident. He said all the credit goes to Yoshi and the preparation he puts in the game and how he displays just a certain toughness out on the mound. And like you mentioned as well, he's making a transition, new league, adjusting to a new culture. And Tori says it just speaks volumes about the type of person he is, student of the game, and really just unruffled out there by anything going on around him. focused like a laser on this game.
Yeah, he is a pro's pro, Kate, after closing all those years in Japan. Gorkys Hernandez, a wild swing and a splitter. Hernandez hitting for the pitcher. 284. He's got 10 homers. Had a nice year offensively and played very good defense in the outfield.
I'm talking to Mike Krukow earlier this afternoon. He said there's some guys on the team that have better numbers than Hernandez, but if he was forced to pick a most valuable player on the team right now, it would be Gorkys Hernandez.
Wow, how about that?
And this was the last guy to make the roster out of spring training, but he's been invaluable to Bruce Bochy this season.
Well, Yoshi missed his spot. Up and in with a fastball, 1-1. Yeah, Hernandez was a guy that was pretty much only a defender in the outfield, just kind of a guy, maybe at best a fourth outfield type, but he's really stepped up the offensive part of his game here. Hernandez actually comes into this series with a 6-game hitting streak. He's hit in 8 of his last 9. There's that low strike again. Ted Barrett has only bitten on that 1 or 2 times tonight. For the most that pitch has, for the most part, it's been a ball all night long. But it showed up as a strike on our computer. That's a pretty good spot for that one. But it's 2-1. Now the outside strike's a different story. A little more liberal out there. It's 2-2. Yoshi trying to make it 25 consecutive scoreless appearances. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Slater down there at second. In the air, deep right center field. Owens near the pool, and he's got it. But Slater, another RBI double. D-backs trail it 2-1.
Plus coverage of D-backs and Giants in Spanish begins at 7 o'clock. Presented by your Valley Honda dealers and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
There's the great Oscar Soria and the former mayor of Benson, Arizona.
Yeah, well, to find the Plus channel listings and the 25-game Spanish television schedule, visit foxsportsarizona.com. Well, they having snacks over there?
Oh, yeah, well, they get everything over there. What do we get? Reyes Moran to the right-hander, who'd been warming up earlier, is on to start the bottom of the 7th inning. John Jay will lead it off. This guy throws hard. Gorkys Hernandez will stay in the game, takes over in center field for Austin Jackson. Jay 0 for 2 with a walk.
See that catch Buster Posey just made right there?
Yeah.
You make enough of those over the course of your career, you end up having thumb surgery.
Voice of experience?
Yes, indeed.
I don't imagine that's a lot of fun. Maranta sticks out the glove. They retire Jay.
Yeah, that pitch that's on your glove side as a catcher and keeps moving that way, and you end up thumb down. And when that ball hits the glove, it just torques that thumb back toward your forearm. Buster's got the glove off right now, trying to give that thumb a little breathing room. Yeah, we had a sinker ball pitcher, our closer with the Giants, Greg Minton, the Moon Man, and he threw a power sinker, and I caught hundreds of them with thumb down, and it got to me.
That ended your hitchhiking career.
Yes, it did.
Here's Nick.
I can only go north and east. I can't go west and south.
Nick singled in the 3rd. He's 1 for 3. He had a couple of hits yesterday in the win over the Marlins in Miami. Sandoval backs up at 3rd, spins and throws. And a nice pick at first by Brandon Belt.
Self-defense that time, backing up, dropping down to a knee to make the backhanded play. Long hop over there for Brandon Belt. He's up to the task.
Here's Goldie. He has flied out deep to right field. He took McCutchen to the wall in the 1st. Walked in the 3rd, singled in the 5th. They want him to move the rosin bag behind the mound. Giants will put 3 infielders on the left side against Goldie. Hernandez is almost on the warning track in dead center. Goldie has hit safely, counting tonight, in 10 of his last 11 games. He hit 3 homers on the last road trip. Bullpen busy again for the Diamondbacks. Look out. Hansen drifts over from the shortstop spot. The second baseman makes the play. Maranta works a 1-2-3 inning. We head to the 8th. It's 2-1 Giants. kicks off tomorrow. 2 huge matches on Fox. First, Pogba in France battle Messi in Argentina, 6 a.m. Then Uruguay faces off with Ronaldo and Portugal, all tomorrow on Fox. Stream it live on the Fox Sports app. And now that we're back home, you've had a chance to peruse your bracket. And I did notice, I hate to be a nudge about this, some changes. It looks like some of your predictions have been altered. That's the nice graphic version. Now this is your version.
Yeah, there's a few X outs. And Brazil initially I had in there as my favorite. I crossed them out and went to somebody else, Germany and then Mexico, and now I'm back on Brazil again.
See, once you make a pick, you're...
No, that's not the way soccer works.
Oh, okay. You get about 7 mulligans on that thing. Fernando Salas on to start the 8th inning. Here's Alan Hansen, the second baseman, who now bats from the left-hand side.
Of course, if Brazil loses to Mexico, I could jump right back on the Mexico team.
I wouldn't be surprised based on your track record. Goldie at first. Well, that's the thing. Once you get into the round of 16, every game is huge. I mean, you've got the best players in the world going head-to-head, and everything is on the line. That's what makes it so compelling. Brandon Belt has walked. He's grounded out twice. Shift is on for Brandon Belt. In with a fastball.
Well, that's a great pitch right there.
Why is that?
Brandon Belt, especially against Salas, he likes to paint that outside corner with the fastball. If you're going to live on the outside corner, you have to do this every now and then just to keep that hitter honest so he's not leaning out over the plate.
Low curveball, swing and a miss, 1-2. Now the shift will change as Lamb moves over into the second base spot. And Nick Ahmed slides over to shortstop. Tony Perez-Chica responsible for positioning the infielders. Fastball away is 2-2. McCutchen will be next. Lifts it in the air the other way. Peralta in left center. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. 2 more games to go in this series against the Giants. Shelby Miller. Well, it's going to be good to have him back here at Chase Field. He gets the start tomorrow against Derek Rodriguez, and then Sunday Zach Godley and Derek Holland. Both games for you right here on Fox Sports Arizona. Then the Cardinals and Padres come in for the rest of the homestand. Here's McCutchen 0 for 3. Which is nice to be back home for a long extended homestand after so long on the road. We were gone almost 2 weeks.
Felt like we spent 2 weeks in Pittsburgh.
And that was only one afternoon.
Well, you always have to deal with the weather there in Pittsburgh, and we had a couple of rain delays, a couple of cloud delays.
Hey, we got off easy in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah.
2 minor rain delays, 1 where it actually rained. That's luck. You'll take that for a 4-game set every time.
And the rain delays sure didn't seem to bother Zach Greinke at all.
How about that? Tony Watson, the left-hander, he might be their closer now. They are, of course, without Hunter Strickland, who broke his hand punching a wall.
I'll say it once again, the wall is undefeated.
Yes, 2 things are undefeated: walls and time. Strickland got upset after a poor performance and decided to hit a wall with his pitching hand. That didn't work out. TJ McFarland getting loose in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. Breaking ball sailed on Salas. It's 3-1. You've got Posey on deck. On the ground into the shift. Marte, backhand stop, long throw. What a play, Ketel Marte. Salas works a 1-2-3-8. D-backs down a run. Home half coming up.
Set for our postgame show. D-backs Live presented by CenturyLink. And Brandon, pitcher's duel here. Patrick Corbin, he was solid once again against the Giants, but Andrew Suarez was pretty good too.
Yeah, again, Patrick Corbin great. Suarez just as great. You know, pitcher's duel really didn't see that coming, but they were both fantastic tonight.
Yeah, all right, it's not over yet, of course. D-backs offense, which was so good on the road trip. We'll see if they can get it cranked up here in the 8th inning, guys.
All right, thanks, guys. Left-hander Tony Watson is on for the Giants as David Peralta leads off the bottom of the 8th inning. We mentioned, Bob, the other day that the alumni game was coming up, and you speculated that maybe Webby was in his backyard throwing eggplants over the fence. And I thought maybe we could check in with Webby and see if the offseason program is in full swing.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Webby.
It's not eggplants anymore. It's full-on baseball, and if I don't play in this game, my son's going to kill me. So he let me have it last year.
So peer pressure.
So are we breaking news here? Are you officially in the alumni game?
I got to do it. I got to do it this year. Well, I can't have my son all over me again.
It's true. Disappoint the family. So are you on? Are you actually pitching, or are you still throwing vegetables?
Oh no, I'm on track. See, he's a little bit older now, so I can play catch with him and let it go a little bit.
Throwing hard sinkers? How old is this young man?
Yeah, he's 8, but he's good. He's an all-star.
He's good. All right.
So I'll take our stuff to Laguna Beach for July and get ready to go.
Well, is that your day to pitch, Webby? I know you like to be on a strict routine. How many days has it been since you last started?
That's true, but if Chris Snyder is not here, it's going to be tough.
Well, I'm glad we asked about that, because that's a breaking news here. Webby in the alumni game. That's coming up in August. How about that? Nice job. Peralta chops that one foul to Dave McKay at first.
Well, this just in.
Yeah.
35 more position players have signed up to come to the alumni game once they heard Webby was pitching.
Well, you got to get Snyder now. You were just talking about catching those hard sinkers. Going to have to check the thumb on Webby's youngster. Get him a thumb guard or something. Hansen at second. Tony Watson has been terrific for the Giants. We talked about the hold stat
earlier in the ball game tonight. Watson has 18 holds. That's tied for second most in the National League, and he's going to try and hold a 2-1 lead right here in the 8th. Marte doubled and scored his last time up. He's 1 for 3. Changeup misses low. Cattell batting from the right-hand side against the lefty Watson. And look at these numbers. Marte is 300 as a right-hand batter this year. Only 207 as a lefty. That's sort of reversed itself from last season. But 4 of his 6 home runs have come batting left-handed, despite that 207 lefty batting average. But in there right now is a 300 hitter, and he's ahead 2-0.
Webby, as of today, is working on 3,371 days rest.
Well, you give your staff more than 30 seconds, they can come up with some stuff. He might be a little rusty then. Maybe a minor league start for Webby.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Got half the team down in Reno tonight anyway. Just get an inning out of him. Fastball misses in, and Marte's ahead 3-0. D-backs need a base runner here. Owings on deck. I would have thought with news that momentous that there would have been a news conference scheduled down in the news conference media room with the background behind him and a lot of flashbulbs popping. Webby announcing his comeback. 3-2. Squibb shot the other way. Belt bobbles it, recovers. Watson hustles over there, and they retire Marte.
Our nationwide vision eye on the game. A pitch by pitch here to Cattell Marte. A couple of changeups out of the zone low to start the sequence. Fastball inside for ball 3, then a fastball for a strike. Fouled that changeup off and comes right back with another changeup. Watson's one of those guys that throws that hard changeup, 88, 89 miles an hour. Just tries to pitch to soft contact. That time got Marte to ground an easy one to first base.
CO has a couple of hits tonight, 2 singles. Well, there's 2 outs, which means D-backs will probably get a base hit here. They have out-hit the Giants tonight 7-5, but they trail it 2-1. Only 2 of the D-backs' 7 hits have come with less than 2 outs. As you said, it's hard to get a rally started with the 2 outs. And left 8 base runners on there. This is skied way up in the air, first base side. Belton Hansen. It's Hansen, the second baseman. Watson a 1-2-3-8. We start the 9th. D-backs down 1.
Austin Slater, an RBI double off Patrick Corbin after Posey had singled. Giants led it 1-0. D-backs even the score in the 6th. Jake Lamb, after a Marte double and an Owing single, knocks in Marte with a fly ball to tie it at 1. Then Slater again in the 7th, his second RBI double in the ball game. Made it 2-1 Giants, and that's where we stand right now as we start the 9th inning. And Slater will bat 3rd in the inning against Fernando Salas, who got 3 outs in the 8th. Posey leads it off. D-backs have out hit San Francisco 7-5, but trail it 2-1. Diamondbacks have stranded 8 base runners tonight. Giants have left 4.
My staff has also pointed out in regards to Brandon Webb that he's only 39 years old.
That's what I'm saying. Get him on the 40 and
Bartolo Colon is 45 and he's still pitching in the big leagues.
Well, you said he's working on 3,000 something days rest. Maybe he's back. Backhand stop by Lamb, sets and throws right on the money to Goldie. Jake's made some nice plays down there tonight. Crawford has singled, walked, and scored a run tonight. He's the hitter. Here comes Torey Lovello. Well, Fernando Salas, tough on righties all year. 4 up, 4 down. He leaves with 1 out in the 9th. Here comes T.J. McFarland. The D-backs trail the Giants 2-1. Our Gila River game summary. Patrick Corbin, just 1 run in 6 innings, gave up 4 hits and 5 strikeouts. Austin Slater has a pair of RBI doubles for all the Giants runs. 1 out in the 9th inning, and T.J. McFarland is on to face Brandon Crawford. Slater with those 2 RBI doubles is on deck. TJ has been one of the MVPs of this team this year. A 2.13 ERA. 50 2/3 innings in 28 appearances. Crawford singled in the 4th, walked and scored in the 7th. He walked against Andrew Chafin to lead off that inning, scored on Slater's RBI double, and that right now is the difference in the ball game. Those leadoff walks. Rockies now have a 2-0 lead at Dodger Stadium. They're in the 8th inning. Padres hosting Pittsburgh. Pirates lead at 6-0 in the 7th at Petco Park. 1-2 on Crawford. That was a little low and outside. Crawford hitting .290 versus lefties this year. Reaches out and taps that back to the mound. TJ scoops it up. Low throw. Goldie's got it 2 outs. Well, here's Slater. He's done all the damage tonight. RBI double in the second, RBI double in the seventh. He's 2 for 3.
I got a feeling, regardless of how this game ends up tonight, that the Diamondbacks are going to take a long, hard look at Austin Slater, some more video, watch the video from the game tonight, and maybe come up with a different game plan. He's shown the ability to drive the ball to the opposite field, pitches that are out away from him. Might have to see if he can handle some heat inside.
Well, he played in 34 games with the Giants last year. Hit .282 with 3 home runs. His rookie season kind of bogged down by injuries. He suffered a right groin strain in July, kept him out nearly 2 months, and wound up needing surgery for a sports hernia. Broken bat the other way, and this one's down the line. That one's sawed in half, but he's got an opposite field single. Boy, TJ just blew him up on that one, but Slater now 3 for 4.
That bat just exploded. Right off the end of the bat, the barrel goes out toward the mound. Slater's ended up holding the tent peg there, and a lot of side English on that ball as it worked its way through the right side for his 3rd hit of the game.
It's his night. Now Sandoval will bat from the right-hand side. He's 1 for 3. 0-1 on the Panda. This is tapped. Long run. Marte's got to get over there. What a play. He was shaded over toward the second base bag. Could tell Marte scrambled over near the right field line to make that play. And we go to the bottom of the ninth. D-backs down 2-1. Defensively at second, some Chaz Roberts AC and plumbing cool plays.
He's made some highlight reel plays tonight. That one on Andrew McCutchen up the middle of the field. Most recently on Pablo Sandoval, starting up the middle and ending up in the hole between first and second. Quick release just in time to get the Panda at first base.
Well, this is a big night here at the ballpark because our boy Andy is back. That is Andy, and if you've come to the ball game here at Chase Field, you know Andy. He's coming off a knee replacement. He's hobbled a bit, but he's a gamer, and he's missed most of the season, but he's back tonight in a big way, and we're thrilled to see him.
Always good to see Andy at the ballpark.
He came up to the booth before the game to give us a pep talk, and he had some complaints, which we're all listened to. He always has a lot of thoughts for us. Will Smith, the left-hander, on to try and close it out. Jake Lamb leads off the ninth. So welcome back, Andy. There's the excuse me Check swing foul. Smith has done a very good job there, of course, without their closer Hunter Strickland. Lefties hitting only a .184 against Will Smith. Ted Barrett will clean things up. Will Smith didn't make it back this year until the first week of May. He'd been out for more than a year after Tommy John surgery. And he's been a terrific addition to this Bruce Bochy bullpen. Lamb lays off a slider. Didn't go, says Trip Gibson. It's 1-1. Fastballs there at 95, a ball and 2 strikes. Jake has singled in this game. He's also got an RBI sac fly. Drove in the D-backs' only run so far. Swing and a miss at the slider.
A little reminiscent of Patrick Corbin's slider earlier in the ball game. Starts inside off the plate, ends up almost in the dirt on the outside part.
Well, Smith in 23 innings of work has 31 strikeouts. The catcher Jeff Mathis 0 for 3. This is in the air, pretty deep right field. McCutchen has room, and he's got it. John Ryan Murphy will be the pinch hitter for TJ McFarland. And John Ryan, 252 on the year. He's got 9 homers. Now these numbers, 252 and 9 versus lefties. He's 291 and 5 homers. So he's done some damage against left-handers this year. Webby and Jody standing by. D-backs live post-game show. Follow the ball game. Well, pretty good curveball right there, but again, Ted Barrett not giving out too many low strikes. It's 1-0. D-backs this year have played 9 2-1 games. Their record in those 9 games is 4-5. Got a fastball up just in case. Brad Boxberger and the Sanderson Ford bullpen. Mike Fetter's the bullpen coach back there. Fastball right at the knees, and Smith is a strike away. Last man standing, John Ryan Murphy. 2 outs, 2 balls, and 2 strikes. Fastball is there, and that's the ball game. D-backs drop the opener this 3-game series and 10-game homestand. Giants take it 2-1.
And John Ryan Murphy caught peeking at a fastball at 95 right out there on the outside corner. Final out of the ball game for the Diamondbacks. Pretty tough to generate offense when you get 7 hits and 5 of them are infield hits.
And most of them with 2 outs. Just couldn't get anything started, so the Giants take it 2-1.
Let's get the D-backs live post-game show underway. Webby is standing by with Jody.
All right, thanks, Steve. That's right. We'll have a reaction from inside the clubhouse. We'll hear from Troy Lavello as well. And, you know, Brandon, interesting, well-pitched game. You heard the guys mention also a bunch of infield hits, not really driving the ball anywhere tonight. Tonight, though, Austin Slater 3 for 4. He drove in both runs. It's interesting. Alan Hansen was kind of that thorn in the side in the previous games the Giants had won. And it's not the usual suspects. I mean, Crawford and Posey, they're still effective, but it's been guys like Slater and Hansen so far this season.
Yeah, he got the job done today. A couple of big-time doubles, 2 RBIs, but the top of their lineup, not much. Just a lot of good pitching from both sides, and a little bit of offense, and that was all they needed. Just 2 runs tonight for the win.
Yeah, we'll see if the D-backs can get the bats going during the rest of the series. But first, we've got the post-game show coming your way. So stick with us here as Brandon and Rob Brenly will take a closer look at the night for Patrick Corbin and Andrew Suarez as well, a young Giants pitcher with a big future. And we'll celebrate Yoshi Hirano, who has a new franchise record. We'll tell you all about that. It's all coming your way on the post-game show. Stay tuned.